Coming up, a Sad Styles production. Get into it!
Start recording.
Okay, so somebody explain to me what exactly is going on here. Banjo Kazooie. This has always been one that we've had hard penciled. One might even say penned for Riley to come on and do, because we know it's your favorite game of all time.
Yes.
Are you not versed in the lands of Banjo and Kazooie?
This is famously one of the games I've never played.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I never played Banjo Kazooie.
You never played Banjo Kazooie?
No,
Ever?
No, Riley. I can tell this is like a personal thing, and I'm so sorry.
I'm just confused.
Honestly, it's like it's one of those why not kind of things, right?
So Banjo is the bear. Kazooie is the bird.
Yes.
There is a shark that scares Mikey.
Yes.
Very much so.
What does this bear do? Go on adventures?
Yes.
Yeah, one big adventure at least. We know of one. We know of a couple actually.
Couple.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things is they always take this animal, they oppress it with some kind of capitalistic monetary class. So what is this bear trying to collect? Fruits, coins, rings. What is it trying to collect?
Music notes.
Music notes.
Music notes. There we go.
Puzzle pieces.
Puzzle pieces.
Puzzle pieces. That's its currency.
And slaves.
Wait, what?
Jinjos.
What are Jinjos?
They're not
Andrew,
slaves.
they are slaves.
They're not.
They're grunty slaves. It says she's trapped us.
They're liberating them then. They're not like collecting them to keep them.
Well,
safe.
hey, when he liberates them, who has them?
In Banjo-Tooie, they've like created their own village and stuff, and they have a king and everything.
A king.
Okay.
Why, they went to a monarchy.
It's a very British game. It's a very loyal to the monarch. Yeah.
Crash has got to get Wampas, rings for Sonic.
What else are you expecting them to do, though? You want to just have a game where you're a bear in cut-off jeans and a backpack just hanging out? Actually, that sounds like a great
That sounds like
game.
a lot of fun. Welcome to the Retrograde
podcast where we remind you what you used to love and whether or not you still should.
I'm Andrew Bascom, and with me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Rarenworth.
Oh, Rarenworth, very good. Raring to go. All right.
Rare because, I mean, you know this, Andrew.
I do know this.
Then what is it?
No, is that Banjo Kazooie, much like his friend Donkey the Kong, was made by Rare, and their friends James the Bond,
and James
made
the
by
Bond.
Rare.
James the Bond, the James the Bond.
Sounds like a good song.
Hey, listen, if you're new to this podcast and you're checking us out because of our guest who we'll introduce in a second here, first of all, thanks for listening. Secondly, typically what we do on the podcast is take a look back at the games that we used to play when we were kids. Usually it's something we had in Affinity Awards one way or another, something that maybe we loved or hated. We rate and review the game as we remember it back when we played it. Then we take a little bit of a break, play the game, play some of the audio or the video if you're watching over on YouTube, then come back and rate and review the game as it holds up in the modern day against the likes of modern games. Today's game, obviously, you've seen the title. It's Banjo Kazooie, a big one. We've had it on our radar for quite a while. Before we get into it, we want to do two things. One, take a quick left turn and talk some bullshit for a while, as we always do.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
I want to give a quick shout out to someone who's given us ratings and reviews. I've realized, Andrew.
What's that?
We're constantly asking for ratings and reviews. We're sitting there with our dirty Tim Hortons cup, just putting it in front of people's faces saying, give me reviews. Give me reviews. I'm assuming that's what all the people on the street in Toronto are asking me for.
Maybe try changing your inflection.
Give me reviews.
No, we're just the whole episode's like, thank you so much for listening. Give us reviews.
Give us reviews.
Do it.
Well, someone did.
Oh, good.
And this person's name is Nick Sills, rating five stars.
Oh, 5 stars.
On Apple Podcasts.
That's a good one.
Look forward to this podcast every week. Funniest gaming podcast in the biz.
Wow.
Thank you so much. I, personally, would tend to agree with you.
Yeah. Is it out of 10? No, it's out of 5.
It's this review?
Yeah.
This is one of those out of 100 scenarios.
Wow. 5 out of 100.
Yeah, this is going back to the old.
So that improved our score.
Very much so. Yeah. Now we're at a 2.5. It's great.
Sounds good.
But we do have a guest that I want to introduce the world to as well, even though most of the new listeners from this podcast are probably listening because they know this person much better than they know ourselves. I call him Mr. Blue Checkmark and Mr. Blue Vest himself. And we'll talk about why.
Yes.
The man who famously once lost to me in Super Smash Bros. Riley Little.
Hell of an introduction. I think you're wrong about something though.
Which is you're not wearing the blue vest.
I'm not wearing the vest.
I see.
Right
Yeah.
Do you have a blue vest?
I have 2 actually.
Do they?
Yeah, I actually do.
I love that. That would be such a good thing. Like, welcome to Walmart. Here's your blue vest.
Well, we should say, Riley, you run the Walmart gaming, the Canadian Walmart gaming Twitter account, which is why we say Mr. Blue Vest, because the old school listeners who have been with us from day one for some fucking reason may not know who you are. Although you've been on this podcast a couple times, so there you go.
So they really need to like go back into that vault.
Yeah,
Those
yes.
old EPs.
Yeah,
do.
you gave them all that credit, and then they were like, "I don't know anything you're talking about." Like, fuck. Yeah, Riley, we're so excited to have you on. So this is you said it. We've been circling this game for a while, but we always wanted to save it for Riley, and because why would that be? Why would we be saving Banjo Kazooie for you, Riley?
I have no clue.
Okay, that's the kind of hard hitting material we asked him to come on to do.
No, I think I like it a lot.
I think
I think I've
it is.
spoken about it.
I knew you pre-2019 as the person who once a day would tweet about wanting Banjo in Smash.
In Smash Brothers.
And you eventually got your way.
Yeah, it happened.
And I have a question. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. Okay. When you play Smash, how often do you actually use Banjo?
A lot.
Oh, do you really?
do you?
A lot. Like,
Really?
I would say he's my main.
Is he actually your main?
Wow.
How great would that be? You're begging. I'm assuming you want it more as an aesthetic thing, and then eventually it comes out and it's actually like your fucking go-to.
Yeah.
Did you learn him because you liked him or because he actually suited your style?
Definitely, but like also he suited my style a
Yeah.
lot. Like he's really good at spacing.
Yeah.
Which is like I play very
Like
like
Kevin.
defensively or proactive.
Kevin Spacing?
Like, are we allowed to talk about him?
It depends on what you want the reaction of this podcast.
While we're reviewing a children's
If
game?
you
I don't know.
If you want some hard hitting, editorials about Frank Underwood and the whole House of Cards, trilogy series, then you came to the right place.
Tragedy. Yeah.
I want to watch the British version of that show because that's where it started. Okay, nonetheless. So you got
The British. That's not actually called House of Cards.
No,
the
it's
British
called
version.
something else.
Yeah, it's called House of Cards.
That's what it's called. Okay.
Cards.
So you got your two favorite things together in one thing. You love Smash Bros. You love Banjo Kazooie. That's like, Mikey, if you got like medium rare steak and your father's approval together. Wouldn't that be great if you got your two most wanted things together?
It would be missing Overwatch, I think.
I guess, yeah.
My favorite part about being here in the moment is knowing that you didn't have that written down.
No.
Like, you just said it.
He says that to me, like you tweeting about Banjo. He says those sorts of things to me once a day as well. Yeah.
Yeah, when I think it gets obnoxious, that's where it goes in the DMs. Yeah, I'm
Exactly.
Like, medium rare steak.
Yeah.
So a big thing I just want to get off the top.
Sure.
I know this is going to be a big point of contention.
Okay.
Kevin Spacey did nothing. Is that I've never played Banjo Kazooie.
That is insane. That's insane
Hi, my
to me.
name's Andrew Bascom, and I've never played Banjo Kazooie. And so a big thing is that we wanted to have. Mikey likes Banjo Kazooie. Riley loves Banjo Kazooie. So
Yes.
they can hold my hands, literally, figuratively, as we play this game together, and get to experience the joys of Banjo and Kazooie playing this game. As far as I understand,
I can't believe that you haven't played this game. Like, I know to me, it's just one of those like N64 games that but similarly, there was a time when you hadn't played a Zelda game either.
yes, that is true. That's why I laughed. I
Yes.
know.
Like
Yes.
how recently did you play your first Zelda game?
It was on this. It was for this podcast. We played Link's Awakening.
I know. That's why I laughed. You're like, it's amazing you never played Banjo Kazooie. I'm like, wait until I tell you about Zelda.
Yes, exactly.
So, IGN's favorite game of all time, Breath of the Wild.
One of them. Okay, so actually, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because IGN's top 100 list. Riley, you're a huge. Banjo is one of my favorite games of all time. I'll also say that. Yeah, I mean, you're giving Riley a lot of credit by saying he loves it. I also fucking love it. So you watch your tone in your mouth.
Okay.
Or I'll watch your mouth for you.
Are you
Oh,
okay,
wow.
dude?
Huh?
Do you want to take a break?
Yes. Yes.
It's only 5 to 6 more times this episode he gets just completely riled up.
Guy had one beer.
I'm almost
the
done
neck
it
of a
though.
beer, yeah.
I'm almost done it though. The IGN top 100 list, Banjo Kazooie. Where on that top 100 list do you think it ranked? Because we did a whole episode.
If I get objective about it, like I feel like I could put games above it easily. Like the
100 games. Because it's not on that
it's
list.
not even on the list.
See, there you go.
That's kind of
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know about
So, I mean, we Andrew and I actually did an episode over on the Mushroom Club, which is our Patreon, patreon.com/Retrograde podcast. We did an episode where we kind of talked about the 5 overrated and underrated picks from that list and some no-shows. And Banjo Kazooie wasn't one I don't think that we brought up
We didn't talk
explicitly,
about it,
but as a no-show was insane to me. And we're not here to throw shade. I know it's really hard to put a top 100 list together, but when a game has a 92% Metacritic score, It's like, how does that not make it?
Yeah, when you get 4 Final Fantasies on there, you're like, maybe one of them. Maybe just like, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Hundreds are hard, but like, man, there was some glaring omissions. That is now I think that's a complete month we've talked about that, where every week we bring it up and go like, that's stupid ass list. It's just pissing me off.
I know. Well, it's been about, Riley, you were on our podcast for the LA Noir special that we did. We kind of piece together this film
segment
noir
where I
kind
just
of thing.
like insulted you, right?
Yeah, which is very
great.
much like
Really
this
nice.
podcast as well. I'm used to it.
I when we got to the end, I was like, Riley, we can start recording now. And you're like, oh yeah, and we just used that huge part where you're just talking shit about Mikey. It was great.
What have you been doing in the meantime? What games have you been playing? Do you want to tell us a little bit about maybe what you're playing now, and then hit us up with what your favorite game of last year was?
Okay, so I guess I've been playing recently like Halo Infinite a ton. I think that game is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was like such a needed return to form. How many games do you want me to list, by the way?
Oh, just a couple. Just what are the big ones that you're doing right now? Halo as one.
Yeah, Halo Infinite. I was replaying Banjo Kazooie because it just launched on Switch.
Which is why we're doing it at the end of this month, because it came out in January on Nintendo Switch Online, which was a great opportunity and an excuse for us to go back and play it. Have you found that I know I've heard some issues with the emulation there. Are you having any issues with the way it's running for you?
No, because like when Banjo launched, they actually updated some of the software there.
Okay.
So that the emulation across the board has like
Gotten a lot better.
There's still frame delays, but like with emulation, that's going to happen.
Right.
But it also makes like those games coming to the console like a possibility.
Sure.
You know, like because you can't do it. You have to do it indivially and remake it.
Exactly.
So it's going to happen regardless.
Did you play through the whole thing, or was this just an excuse for you
did a good chunk. I'm about halfway through Banjo Kazooie. So, and I played it with the N64 Classic controller.
Cool. Yeah, see, I'm thinking about getting that
So
for myself.
fun,
That looks like a much more fun way to play it. I in the spirit of getting us to a point for this episode when we can play it kind of midstream, I played a little bit of the intro just to get us to the first world and going back into that world. It's the first time that I'd done it, like playing Banjo again. And fuck, it felt really good.
Yeah,
it
Mumbo's
felt really
Mountain,
good.
right?
Mumbo's Mountain, exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
so good.
But
for
before,
sure.
Andrew loves Mumbo's Mountain.
I'm definitely in on this too. It's all three of us.
His phone wallpaper is Mumbo's Mountain.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's leave. Actually, before we go on from that, favorite game of last year. Do you have one?
Halo Infinite.
Oh, really?
Halo Infinite, but close second is new Pokemon Snap.
You love that game.
I loved it.
Okay, so Andrew and I played it on this podcast.
we did.
And I fucking loved it when we played it.
Yeah.
And I played it a little bit after, but after like 4 hours or so, I had no interest to go back to it.
How far did you get?
I unlocked. Honestly, all in, I probably spent about 6 hours with it.
Okay.
So I
put like 40 hours in.
which is that's crazy.
That's awesome.
I feel like Andrew would
I
love
would
that.
Yes,
That's so
100%.
cool.
I would 100%.
You sounded like the voice actor. That's so cool.
Yes.
Nice picture. Because Todd Snap comes back.
Yeah.
The very next day.
Return.
I
Yeah.
love that it's like this end game level thing of like, holy shit, is that Todd Snap? Like they go like feet up and there's just like, oh my God. Yeah,
Actually, I'm glad you brought up Endgame because I did have another question that I wanted to ask you, Riley. Riley, for those of you who are new to this podcast, has a lot more insight, I think, into the video game industry than we are. You've done video games journalism for
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
What publications are you still writing? Or do you still?
I contribute. Like every once in a while, I
Rant
contribute
and-
to Screen Rant.
Yeah.
And TCL is another one.
Nice.
The television.
So the reason we ask is because you are actually someone people want to hear from, as opposed to the two dummies who host this podcast, which is Andrew and producer Elliot. And then I come on and save the fucking day all the time.
What the fuck is this?
But Andrew mentioned Endgame, and I started thinking about Spider-Man: No Way Home. And follow me on this because it sounds unrelated. But have you seen Spider-Man: No Way Home yet?
Yeah, with all the.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that characters from past Spider-Man movies come back. That everyone knows that.
Yeah.
That's not a spoiler. Andrew.
Like,
Why are you
it's
laughing?
not.
Green Goblin is like in the art.
He's
like
and in the trailer.
Doc Ock is in the trailer.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
I'm just envisioning the angry letter we get from one person.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like,
it'll happen.
oh my God.
It'll
I was
happen.
able to survive a month and then,
And then you listen to this dumb podcast hosted by Andrew.
Yep.
Does the existence of a movie like that give you hope that all the issues surrounding some of Rare's titles, I'm thinking GoldenEye specifically, that one day we can actually find a way for people to shake hands and give us a remake of that game?
Yes.
Right?
I think GoldenEye is going to happen.
Right?
It's like, but I think like imminently it's going to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Is this because of Spider-Man No Way Home? Did Dr. GoldenEye was sitting at home like, that was a great movie?
I think what companies now, billion-dollar companies, are realizing is that like 2000s, like late 90s nostalgia is very in right now.
Yes.
You see it in fashion. You see it in the Spider-Man movies.
Yep.
You see it everywhere. Like KO the Kangaroo is coming back, which debuted on the Sega Dreamcast. Like,
nice.
Yeah, like they announced that like yesterday or something like that. So it's like all of these properties are starting to make their way back to the like mainstream now.
Well, all the people whose parents had to buy them these games and spend money on them for these properties now have disposable income. Yeah. And it's like, just give us that. That's what even if that's not actually what we want, because so often, like I think about new Pokemon Snap. I bought it day one. Yeah. I was like, this is what I want. Just give me the game that I fell in love with as a kid. And then I played it and I'm like, I don't think I actually want this. And that may be the case, but regardless, I've already spent my money.
And you're wrong.
And I would have done it again.
Yeah.
And I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And my dad does not approve.
Yeah, there we go.
But I did get my medium rare steak. So that's all I was
halfway there, baby.
Halfway there.
But the reason I say it's imminent is because Nintendo filed for the game to be unbanned in Germany like 3 months ago.
Was it banned in Germany?
Yeah, it was completely banned in Germany. And they fought, and it's something that happens every like 10 years or something automatically, but they put it forth to have that done.
Ooh.
Is Germany portrayed in a bad
And on
light?
top of that,
I don't think so.
On top of that, an achievement list leaked on Xbox's end.
Whoa.
For
oh,
GoldenEye.
shit.
So it's like imminent.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I would say.
See, I was excited for the Joe and Mac remake, but I think now I'm even more excited for this one. That's
Riley, also, can you try not to break news on our bullshit segment? Like, this is our bullshit segment. We'll get to the breaking news later, and you better have some more bullets in that chamber.
But like the only way that game was ever going to come back is if Nintendo and Microsoft made like terms together.
Yes.
And like figured it out. And you see like Banjo Kazooie is on Nintendo Switch,
Yes.
which is an Xbox Game Studios title. You see Banjo Kazooie and Smash Brothers, like Ori and the Blind Forest is on Switch. Cuphead was something that Microsoft owned the publishing rights in the first one. I think they got it back now and put it on PlayStation since. But all of these are green lights across the board from Nintendo, like Microsoft collaborating on.
Do you think there's a strategy? Because obviously Microsoft, we talked a couple weeks ago, Andrew, you and I, about Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Is there a strategy they have in buddying up with Nintendo, knowing that their reach doesn't really go beyond gaming, whereas Sony might be able to put up a little bit more of a fight in other realms? They're like, well, Nintendo's not really a threat to us. So let's like get buddy with them. And there was a rumor about Game Pass potentially coming to the Switch at one point, which would have been really cool. And maybe that'll still happen. But I mean, that would be a powerful merger. Sony's got to be shaking in their boots at that. Not that I think that's actually going to happen, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the Activision Blizzard acquisition all day because like I think that they acquired that company in order to force Game Pass onto PlayStation, to strong arm their way onto it.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, see, that's an element of it that we had not thought of when we spent our. What does that look like? What happens to PlayStation now at that point?
Nothing.
Because PlayStation
it doesn't
sup.
But like it doesn't, like, to me, I don't see it as a threat. Like you can have Halo and you can have Call of Duty on PlayStation and it doesn't.
I guess you can have
them.
Netflix and Amazon
that, and
Prime,
if they're on
right?
that, if they're on that hardware, like Sony's getting a cut of it at least.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
it doesn't hurt them at all. And the same reason like Microsoft is getting buddy with Nintendo right now is because they want it on Switch.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
have
get-
something to gain from being buddy with them.
Right.
Totally. And I guess you spend more time with your PlayStation, which is at the end of the day what they want you to do. They want to spend as much time on the PlayStation as possible because it opens up more avenues for OTT subscriptions and, you know, other things like that, like Game Pass or
You down with
other
OTT?
things. Yeah, you know me. And so guess what I just learned today? OTT. So I just wanted to use it in conversation.
Hey, heads up. I don't know what the fuck
It's called over-the-top subscriptions. So, like, instead of built-in subscriptions, it's like when you subscribe to Crave in Canada or Prime or something like that.
Oh, you get
it's over the top
stars
of
as
the-
well.
Yes, stars, exactly.
Yes.
See? Okay. Well, you just learned something. You're welcome, everybody. I'll see you guys later. You guys talk about Banjo Kazooie for a bit.
You know what? I kind of would. I would love to. But just because you mentioned Halo Infinite as your game of the year last year, what's your most anticipated game, Riley, coming into this year?
Good question.
And I'll say you can say Elden Ring if you want, and I'll just be sitting here
love
like
Elden
this.
Ring. Well, so like I was walking over here and I tweeted out that we finally got an exclusive for Walmart from Elden Ring.
Right,
So
right.
plug-in. So we're excited about that, and I think that game's going to be huge. I think
Yes.
it's going to be awesome. All of the previews are indicating that.
Yeah.
right now, like Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out tomorrow.
As of recording, by the time this releases, and by the way, depending on the order of the releases, that may be last week, and you may be listening to the Pokemon Arceus episode.
Yeah. So
Arceus
I mean,
episode.
looking past that, I would say maybe God of War Ragnarok would be way up there.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild 2, if it actually comes out this year. And
my gut tells me it's not going to.
Yeah.
It'll come out the same time.
That's
as
not insider
Overwatch
info.
2.
That's just like my gut feeling.
Yeah.
No clue. But
Wait, so
outside of
GoldenEye
what
was
they
insider
said.
information.
No, that wasn't. That was
GoldenEye, though. No, Mikey.
Well, that's
he
like,
didn't.
I just pointed to public things. I don't know.
Mikey, he's not breaking news. This is not the breaking news segment. He would never do that. He would never break format. He respects us.
Yes,
respects
it's all
this.
bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
It's all. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, look, we've got a lot to get to with Banjo Kazooie because there's so much that's rich in this game's lore and our experiences with it. So I kind of want to, mine and Riley's experiences
I
with
was
it.
gonna say.
Let's shower Andrew in some experiences with Banjo and Banjo Kazooie.
Please tell me.
So listen, I know, Andrew, that you're gonna have to kind of like join in when you want, but like there's a ton about this game that is completely absurd, which lends itself well to this type of conversation. I mean, it's a bear.
I was so glad you said that because you're like this rich text about a bird and a bear that go on an adventure. Well, like treating it fucking like it's the Odyssey. I'm sorry. Okay, you please go on. I do not want to ruin your childhood, but I am going to Stadler and Waldorf this from the side and just every once in a while go like,
Well, okay, so it came out in 1998, developed by Rare, published by Nintendo, and you mentioned the story being like the Odyssey, which is a story that comes up on this podcast way too often.
we talk about Homer a lot.
Homer, Robert Frost.
Robert Frost, we bring up a ton.
I'm sure
Sylvia
Schrodinger's
Plath.
cat,
Sylvia Plath, and the way that she killed herself.
and her baking club, yes. But the story is basically fucking Snow White. I mean, except that instead of 7 dwarfs, there are a bunch of puzzle pieces. They do whistle, but not while they work. And instead of working, they just hide in really hard to reach places. And that's the story of Banjo Kazooie. Because you have
that's the worst description of anything.
No, that's exactly it. Because Gruntilda, the witch, right? Grunty.
Yeah.
Grunty. The whole game starts off with her like. First of all, she speaks in rhymes, which is got to be exhausting.
But it's like a fairy tale.
It is like a fairy tale. It is like a fairy tale, and she's speaking to her pot, and she's like, "Yo, I'm
actually curious. Have you ever listened to the theme song in Gruntilda's Lair?
I mean, I've heard it.
Actually, okay.
But have I listened to it?
I'm just gonna do like a little bit, and I just want Andrew to tell me what it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we go into something layer.
Yes.
Yeah. What the hell is that song called?
Is it Fantasia? No.
It's literally Teddy Bear Picnic.
Oh yes,
It's literally Teddy Bear Picnic. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
man.
In the woods today, you're shooting a fine.
Oh God, I hope that estate is not litigious. But yes, that is very much the Teddy. Oh, see, that's good. I like that kind of reference.
Well,
that's
the
good.
music made by Grant Kirkhope, who is actually pretty famous for Rare. He did Donkey Kong's music, Donkey Kong 64, GoldenEye, Blast Corps, Perfect Dark, Viva Pinata, more recently, Crypto the Necrodancer and the Legend of Zelda update to that.
Oh, okay. Yooka-laylee, I think.
Did he do Yooka-laylee as well? That would make sense because that's the spiritual successor.
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, and Mario plus Rabbids he did for Ubisoft.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. He remixed some of the Donkey Kong songs and stuff.
Oh, okay, because and most of what he had his hands on earlier on, he came back to either be an inspiration for or whatever. He also, I don't know if you realize this, I didn't until I looked him up, but he did the voice of Mumbo Jumbo, the Jinjos, and Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. That's him, yeah.
That's great.
That's him.
Okay, I'm glad you did that because in my head I was like, Donkey Kong. What does Donkey Kong say? Oh yeah, right. That makes sense.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what he says. You mentioned Yooka-laylee because he did some of the music on that, which is the spiritual successor to the game. The rights got scattered to the winds, much like the Jinjos, the music notes, and the puzzle pieces in Banjo Kazooie. Did you play Yooka-laylee when it came out? I think 2019.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
Yeah,
what did you think about it? Because it didn't get great
the
reviews.
The latest one was 2019. I think the original came out like 2016 or something.
Oh really?
By Platonic, which was more like Banjo Kazooie-esque, and the other one was more like Donkey Kong Country.
Oh,
so in what way is it like Banjo Kazooie? In gameplay, is it about a bear?
It's a collectathon. It's a 3D platforming collectathon, and it has Yuka, which is like a chameleon, and Laylee, which is a bat.
I see.
You know how chameleons are like bears?
Chameleons are like bears. Chameleons are the
is like
bear
a
of the
box
lizard
of
world.
bears.
Birds are like bats. I get that. They both fly.
It's basically anything with wings. Yes, I agree with that. But let's continue on the story.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's basically Snow White. Gruntilda's in her lair.
Yeah.
Teddy bear picnic's playing in the background. She fucking loves that jam.
Loves that. So good.
And she's talking to her pot, and she's like, the pot can talk, by the way.
Oh,
Did I say that?
so it's like the mirror.
It's very much like the mirror.
Okay.
She named the pot a mirror. And this just, everything meshes. And she says to the pot, she's like, I'm hot shit. Right?
Right.
And the pot's like,
It's a child's game. Mm-hmm. Okay.
the pot's like,
I thought you rhymed. Can you make it rhyme?
I'm hot shit. Is that legit? And the pot says,
It's like how I talk to my partner, like, oh, I'm cool, right? You seek validation.
The reason why they taught the pot to talk.
Oh, I look great.
Yeah.
Right, honey?
Yeah.
Right?
What do you think about this haircut? Right? Yeah.
and the pot says, factually, that's true. You're hot shit. No arguments there.
Okay.
Okay.
However,
Okay.
you're not the hottest. And Grunty is not cool. She's not okay with that. And the pot says, you got to be on the lookout for what can only be described as a grade schooler running around the world of Banjo. She is young.
Tootie.
Tootie, Banjo's sister.
Yeah.
Because Grunty wants Tootie's beauty. That's the story
Tootie's
of the game.
beauty?
She wants to steal Tootie's beauty. But
So wait. The most attractive person in the land is not a witch, who I assume is old.
yeah, very old.
It's a
Keep in mind, the land is like one mountain and a house.
Yeah,
like
she's-
it is not.
she's-
It's not a developed world. It is
That's
literally
true.
a canyon that is boxed in from everything else.
Right, literally, Grunty steals Tootie away, and Banjo's like, where the fuck did Tootie go? And then a mole who Banjo had never met before that lives outside of his house.
in the little canyon.
In the little in the
literal
canyon.
mole or actual, like literal mole?
A literal mole.
Okay, literal mole. Okay.
Bottles, I think his name is.
Bottles the mole.
And Bottles is like, no, Grunty's a witch. She lives in this area, and you look up, and her face is her castle, and it's on a mountain. It's like, Banjo, you never
Next
noticed
door.
this? Next door.
Wow.
His next door neighbor is Grunty the witch. Which, granted, I mean, listen, suburban areas these days,
Yeah.
you don't even know your next door
Urban
neighbor.
sprawl, am I right? So Grunty's competition was by a teenage talking and walking bear.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, just
Wait,
no
what did you
commentary.
learn? What did you learn?
I learned that bears are deemed beautiful in this world.
That's true.
And that's great.
Not beautiful. I like kind of hot
That's
shit.
great. I'm
It's just
very proud of
crazy that like the first thing you hear is the pod is like, you're not the most beautiful thing in the world. What is?
So does the pod speak for everyone, or does the pod have the hots for that teenage bear?
I think a nice rhyme, by the way.
Thank you. I'm grunting it.
I think the pot has the hots for this grade schooler. It's just so weird to hear like
Pervert pod.
like, old witch, you are not the cutest person, the most good-looking person in the land. A child is. Just weird choice. Make her a little bit older. Like the first time you see her, she's like playing a flute, all cute, running around with pigtails.
Yeah.
It's
Don't like that.
uncomfortable. It's
Yeah, don't like
uncomfortable.
that. Don't like that.
Not the biggest fan of that.
So I'm a big fan of pod, Grunty's pod.
No. But you know what's funny about this is I don't know. I'm sure you know, Riley. I don't know why I'm telling you about this, but the production cycle of this game, starting as Dreams way back in the day, Project Dreams, and basically becoming like a bunch of different games. They wanted to come out as a platformer on the N64, and then Super Mario 64 happened, and they're like, pump the brakes. We got to revamp some shit.
Yeah, because that changed everything.
It changed
right?
everything.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see the influence of a game like Mario 64 on this game because like there are literally like you jump into paintings. That became like a standard mechanic in games after Mario 64. like as much as it's like, I know how much ammo I have left, or like health bars are red. And you're like, okay, I know that. That is what I recognize.
If I need to get health on the street, it's a cooked turkey.
It is a cooked turkey.
That's just became the flat.
That's it.
Unit of conversion is how much turkey is health in this world.
I guess that's equally as absurd as the fact that all games adopted paintings that you could jump into.
Yeah, but it's like paintings are like.
When you say all games, like what other games?
Halo, Metal Gear Solid, Death Stranding for sure. All the Kojima games. Halo as well. Did I mention Halo?
Deep appreciation of art.
Speaking of that, like, so Mario 64 has like Bob-omb Battlefield.
Yes.
Like the first stage that you go and jump into the painting, right?
Yes.
And they took that photo and they put it in the new Super Mario, like exhibit in Universal Studios. Oh, and I'm kind of like, that's gonna. Some idiot's gonna have a couple beers and jump at it. Like that was my first time. Like what? Like that's cool, but also like, come on, like it's gonna happen.
My brother, when we were kids, I think I've told the story on the podcast before, but you remember the show Reboot? I think it may have just been a Canadian show.
It's actually that's got an interesting cycle too. It was originally an NBC show that was canceled, and then brought back into Ontario, and then that's where there was like 6 seasons of it.
Did it make a racist remark in public or something? Why did it get canceled?
Honestly. Probably. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and defend it.
But there was a moment in those shows when there would be like incoming game and like something would come down, screen would kind of change color. My brother told me, he's like, he was just talking about the show. He's like, yeah, when the thing comes down, you jump into it and you go in the game. He's explaining to me the plot of the show, but I was a dumbass kid. And I'm like, oh, that means I can jump into the screen and join the game. And I literally like pressed against and then put my face against the screen to try to get in there.
How old were you?
It was my 21st birthday.
Yeah. Ruined the whole birthday party.
It was a great time. Put my hand through that goddamn TV.
Disappointed. Oh God, he's doing it again. Oh God, get him away from the television.
Okay, so less about Reboot and more about more about this. Let's reboot the conversation and make it more about Banjo.
Nice.
Rather than go more into the plot and alienate Andrew a little bit. Although I'm sure you're enjoying this.
I'm loving this.
These moments.
Fun. It's like someone explaining a dream.
Well, Project Dreams. Project Dreams.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Rather than go into that. Just like, you know what? Andrew's even sitting on like the opposite side of the room as we record this. Riley and I have been getting like closer and closer to one another as we've been doing this. The differences and similarities, as we mentioned, between Super Mario 64, which Andrew, you're incredibly familiar with.
Oh yeah, I love that game,
obviously. And this one, did you have a preference, Riley, one over the other? Like, is there one that stood out? Obviously, our first experiences with Super Mario 64 and the originality and the way it changed, that you cannot take that away from it.
You can't. I mean, I think that Super Mario 64 was like the most groundbreaking game for its time, probably of all time. I totally agree. The biggest benchmarks in gaming, I would say.
Yeah.
I think Banjo-Kazooie is better.
I totally agree. Wow. As a game to play, just in terms of the overall gameplay, the story, the music, the character design.
Mario Odyssey basically took that formula and applied it to it. Like that's like that whole game is based on like obviously the mechanics of like Sunshine and 64, but like heavily influenced by Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Did you play any of the sequels? Like not yooka-laylee, but like Nuts and Bolts, for example, or Banjo-Tooie?
I played all the sequels, except for Grunty's Revenge on the Game Boy.
The Game Boy Advanced. And there was Banjo Pilot.
Banjo Pilot, that was another one.
So there was the third game of the main series, because Banjo-Tooie was pretty straightforward. Banjo-Tooie was a great name,
Banjo-Tooie?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
It was a great game.
That's so cute.
But Banjo Nuts and Bolts was like a wild change of direction.
So different.
And it pissed a lot of people off because
it was like Duke Nukem.
It was Banjo comes out. He's got his shades on.
Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah, Duke Nukem.
You can pick up the turd and draw on the window or the mirror or whatever. That game sucked. Yeah, that game sucked. Oh, this is the worst game I've ever played.
I just imagine Banjo-Kazooie now smoking cigarettes, giving money to strippers, things like that. Killing pigs, that still works in that world.
Yeah, and Duke Nukem Forever, you can go to the toilet and there's just a turd and you can pick it up and like draw.
Oh my God.
I think you got an achievement for it. I'm pretty sure.
Well, why wouldn't you at that point?
Well, yeah. I also imagine somebody played that game and just went, oh, the future. Like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Oh man. I never played that game, but I did play the original Duke Nukem, and I absolutely fucking loved it. I thought that was fantastic.
3D or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. We did that on the podcast. It was great. But Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah.
Was it Banjo Nuts and Bolts?
Banjo-Kazooie
Nuts and Bolts was a very different concept of a game where you basically built like vehicles. That was one of the primary mechanics of the game. You like put these vehicles together in a way that was heavily reliant on physics mechanics to see if you could like make something that could go fast or fly or this and that. And it was so different from Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie that I think it pissed a lot of people off. I liked it. I actually liked Nuts and Bolts.
I think it's a great game.
Yeah.
It's just not a great Banjo game.
I totally agree with. It felt like they had another concept for a game that wasn't fully fleshed out. And we've seen this come up a couple times in games where like, hey, just slap this other property on it and hopefully all the bad stuff will go away.
Yeah.
But I actually did appreciate it very much. What did you like more, Tooie or Kazooie?
I think Tooie is probably one of the best sequels of all time, but like Kazooie, I think is like the one that's like a mainstay, right?
Yeah.
Like it's such a classic that like it's hard to top that.
More important question, and Andrew, you can weigh on this this one as well. I want to draw your attention to Exhibit A, which is the description which I found on Wikipedia. I always like to read the Wikipedia descriptions, even when I do know the story of a game, because you'll find some fucking gems in there.
Okay.
This gem, I think, leads us into a more broad conversation of a political notation that I think we should get into after we talk about Banjo Kazooie, because I think we're going to shift our attention from video games to something that's a little bit more salient. Okay,
100%.
So, and this is interesting.
It's always a good way to start a story.
This is very interesting. This is part of the description.
Nobody likes that guy at a party. Nobody likes that guy at a party.
Or the joke doesn't get heard, and then they repeat it, and they're like, They're like, okay. All right.
No, he laughed, dude.
Sorry, Mikey. Yes, this is interesting.
That guy at the party just remains silent until people turn to him again and he can start speaking. You know, when people do that and they're like the silence
He
is
remains
definitely
silent until he picks up a guitar or something. Yeah, like
Has a pipe.
this guy.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's the description of the game from a very base level. It's describing the characters, Banjo and Kazooie, the titular. Okay. The games feature a male bear named Banjo and his friend, a large female red bird called Kazooie. Now, Riley, how important is the gender of your protagonists?
I was gonna say. To fuck? What's going
in
on?
the late 90s?
In general.
So
you're
modern. I would say it's pretty important.
Okay.
Why?
No.
Okay.
What are you concerned? I'm giving. This is your time to speak. Do you have an issue?
It's the worst thing I've ever experienced. What are you doing?
Gender becomes. I'm comfortable with that. Andrew, you're pretty comfortable with this
I
conversation.
think it's good to have like a
entirely.
diverse range of characters, but I mean, like it's literally.
see, now it feels like
bear wearing a
compensation.
backpack and with a bird in it. I don't know if it really has
So bears
much of a
with
political.
We're talking gender here.
There's not much
Riley.
political nuance in this one. I don't think. I think it's just a bear.
Yeah, to the untrained eye, it wouldn't, would it?
They included genders in this because it's important.
It's important.
It's important, just like they do in Pokemon. Which Pikachu am I catching? A female or a male? You need to tell me. And I actually demand that from all my video games. Is this a male Master Chief or a female Master Chief?
The best part about it is first in Pokemon Red and Blue, that wasn't the case except for one Pokemon.
Nidoking and Nidoking?
Yeah, Nidoran. And it's like Nidoran, male.
Male. Why? Oh, okay.
You gotta know what it evolves into.
And then they added all the breeding mechanics, right? So
Eventually.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yeah, and
Yes.
Silver, I think. So then that's when the genders rolled in. And I was like, oh.
Speaking of gender roles. No, you said it like surgeons general.
Surgeons
like gender's
general.
role.
Yeah.
You're like all the genders.
We're obsessed
roll
with where you place the comma sometimes.
Yes.
It's just one of just like Robert Frost, just like an obsessive thing that we talk about all the time here. That's amazing. Thank you, Wikipedia, for gendering the bear and the bird.
They had to. The birds and the bears. It's just the conversation we have to have with all the kids.
Instead of telling your kids about, sex and stuff like that, you're like, let's play Banjo Kazooie. I think it'll explain everything. So this pot wants to have sex with that teenage bear.
Well, it's funny because they're like cartoon animals, right?
Yes.
So they have a platonic relationship, and then
Presumably.
the name of the people who made the spiritual successor, yooka-laylee, is platonic.
Oh, whoa.
Okay. Just blowing my mind.
You're going to have to explain that to me. I'm just
Is Banjo Kazooie past the Bechdel test?
What would Kinsey say about Banjo? Did you guys know though that Banjo Kazooie was not the first game Banjo was in?
No,
Yes, I did know that.
Do you know the first game he was in?
Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong Racing, another game that we did on this podcast, a rare game.
That was before.
Banjo.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, just kind of like focus testing. Like, hey, do you like bears in short yellow shorts? What if the world said yes?
What if this adorable bear talked? Pro or con?
The way this is all divvied up is like so bizarre to me. So like those characters in Diddy Kong Racing, for example, like at the time when it was made, Diddy Kong, Crunch, and Banjo were all owned by Nintendo. They were all wholly owned Nintendo characters.
Right. Huh.
And the rest are owned by Rare. To this day, they're still owned by Rare. So Microsoft owns all of the Diddy Kong Racing characters.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd love a revamp of Diddy Kong Racing. I'd take that all day long.
Nintendo fully owned Banjo until Rare got bought by Microsoft. But the problem there was that Rare owned some of the Donkey Kong characters in Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah.
So they swapped rights for Banjo to those characters.
Like fucking trading cards?
Yeah. They're like, okay, here's the deal. We're going to take the Donkey Kong characters. You get Banjo Kazooie back.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it can happen to a hockey player, it can happen to a fictional character.
They do it all the time. Disney, Oswald the Rabbit was
Oswald the Rabbit.
Yeah, they traded a literal like real life sportscaster.
So Al Michaels. That's the story I was literally going to bring up, where they traded Al Michaels, a human being, for the rights to a cartoon character.
That's like the episode 1 of MacGruber when he gets the hostage exchange for a dog.
For a dog, and then the president's daughter runs out. Yeah, I was gonna say like that we brought up No Way Home already. And I think it's really interesting that like the real crux of why that movie is good and important, like it's a good movie and it's fun, it's entertaining and stuff like that. But really the thing that makes it so good is that is insane when you have to try and explain to somebody. You're like, it's good because, okay, how much do you understand about copyright law with Sony and Marvel? And you're like, not much. You're like, you might not like this stuff. Like, it's the same thing. They're like, Marvel was going bankrupt, so they sold other characters, and Sony bought Spider-Man. But now the Sony Spider-Man is in a Marvel movie, and you're like, and somebody's like, I don't care. I'm like, I know, that's probably the appropriate response.
It is great. Like just from, and that's why I wanted to compare the two, like with something like GoldenEye, and I know Rare, Nintendo, Microsoft, all this stuff is kind of intertwined. It's nuts to think that corporations are finally finding a way to bring this all together. And I've always been in the corner of big corporations.
Yeah.
I always knew they'd figure it out. Yes. And look at them doing it.
Thank you, Corporation Daddy, for giving me this gift.
And this medium rare steak and your approval.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the moment they were like, "Oh, Spider-Man, he's out of the MCU," it's like, okay, well, they'll figure that out.
Yeah,
like, there's not a moment I believed that. Like, there's too much money on the table.
And Tom Holland was so goddamn good. Whether like, there's no way they're letting that slide.
Well, yeah, and Sony couldn't like make one to save their lives that was like even close to what Marvel was doing. So they just said like, we'll just take 70%. Here you go. Like they still make a ton of money on those movies.
doing nothing.
Exactly. So yeah, for just being good business people in the 90s.
Good business people in the 90s.
It's an album I like.
Good business people in the 90s. You know who's a good business person in the 90s? Patrick Bateman.
Yeah?
He's a great business person.
A personal hero of yours, right?
What genre is that album?
The genre would be German rock.
The genre that banned GoldenEye.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The first album, the first song, Complex. Yeah.
Okay, so that was my first bit of trivia. I got another trivia question for you, which was what was the other game that Banjo showed up?
I'm just gonna guess that Riley does know it, so just go looking at me.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Would it surprise you? So fine, I won't word it as trivia. Would it surprise you to know that Banjo and Kazooie both have shown up in other games as disembodied heads?
What?
Did you know this, Rev? He nods.
A subtle nod.
Like multiple games.
Yes, it's fucking crazy.
As severed heads in multiple
Severed
games?
heads.
Like mounted heads.
Yes.
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Nope.
Honestly, probably.
Well, they're probably based, like, I don't know. That bird scared the hell out of me. What kind of game would have it as a severed head? Well, so first of all, you got to get the rights.
Think of a Rare game that was pretty controversial.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yes, there's one of them.
He's in the main lobby, and Kazooie is in, I think, the settings or the option in the umbrella.
Top of an umbrella. Yeah. But then the other weird one to me is Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Yeah.
They're both.
His head comes alive.
Yeah. Just what's with the fucking severed heads?
You didn't warn me. You're talking about Ghosties and Ghoulies?
Ghosties and Ghoulies.
You know I'm not crazy about.
Why are you saying
Don't do that. Don't bring up Ghosties and Ghoulies.
You know the old Nintendo game Super Ghoulies and Ghosties, right?
No.
Oh, you've never heard of with Maximo Super Ghoulies and Ghosties?
He's a little knight.
No
He
idea
gets scared into his boxers.
Yeah, he's got his boxers.
It's a very scary game.
Are you talking about ghosts and goblins?
I don't think that's a real game. I'm pretty sure it's Super Ghoulies and Ghosties. Yeah.
We played it during Retrograde.
Crazy that this fucking video game journalist doesn't know.
Give us your license back. Come on, get out of here.
Arthur? Yeah. Right?
That's insane. Disembodied heads multiple times.
That's
So weird. Okay. Did people hate this game? Was there a backlash to this game? He was pretty beloved.
No, everyone fucking loved this game.
I think that Rare just wanted to find a way to like get it in.
Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
No,
I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying. I'm saying, and I'm not saying that.
I hear what you're saying. I'm saying you're saying. And
He's putting it down. You're picking it up. I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
I didn't touch it. I just left it there.
Okay, so the last thing I want to touch on before we start to play this game. This is one of the most interesting side stories in a video game. almost like an ARG at this point, alternate reality game at this point, but like not quite, because it had its ties in the actual physical games. And I'm sure, Riley, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about Stop and Swap.
Oh, yes.
Which is a crazy, bizarre situation that happened with Rare when they both wanted it to be a big deal and didn't want it to be a big deal. But essentially, it seems as though they programmed something into the game Banjo Kazooie that they teased, which would have allowed you, with future iterations of Banjo Kazooie and future Rare properties, to take an item from Banjo Kazooie and transfer it into other games.
Whoa.
And by doing so, you would unlock things in these other games, and you would unlock, eventually, if you did all of them, like some super secret thing. It was based on the premise that in early models of the N64, you could pull out the game cartridge and you had 10 seconds to swap in another one before essentially the RAM was completely wiped.
Okay.
But that changed in subsequent models of the N64 where it turned only to a second. And the whole premise of them saying if you beat Banjo-Kazooie and you have this saved progress, you can remove the game, put the new one in, and something from that would transfer over to the new game.
Yeah.
Great idea. Great concept.
Wow, cool.
And they teased it. It's at the end. They show you like the ice key.
It is all in Banjo-Kazooie.
It's all in.
All of those
because they assumed that they were
Huh.
going to be able to do this. The 6 colored eggs that represented, which we know now, as of like 2018 is when we got like a final confirmation of what it was, that each of the 6 colored eggs represented different Rare games that were going to be coming out at different times. It wasn't just the Banjo-Kazooie properties. But the funniest part about it is like when Banjo-Kazooie ended, the game ended, they teased these things to you to show you that they were there. And players are like, well, what the fuck does this mean?
And they comment on it and stuff when you get them.
Exactly.
Like, oh man, maybe we'll use it later.
Oh, wow.
They tease you like a fucking MC, end of an MCU like post credit sequence.
Yeah,
or
Nick
something
Fury
like
shows
that.
up, yeah.
Nick Fury definitely shows up.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. What do you do with these eggs? You don't have an ice key, do you?
The weirdest part about it though is once they realized that they couldn't keep this going, they really pulled back and like, we don't want to talk about it. We never promised anything in this. And journalists kept asking them about it. What are these things? You had gamers like going in and trying to find the solutions to it because they were playing so coy. And then eventually they start around like 2008. They're like, you're going to have to wait until Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts comes out before you get like a legit answer to what the Stop and Swap actually was. And they're like, oh my God, it's coming back. Like 10 years later, we're finally going to find out what it means. And it didn't really come to fruition. And then they kind of like poo-pooed it again, kept like distancing themselves and then bringing it back into popular culture and then distancing themselves again. So much so where they would like bring it up in like Banjo Pilot. There's one of the other Banjo games.
Yeah.
There was an unlockable for like 999 of something. You get them and you trade them to Cheeto.
Yeah.
And Cheeto basically says like, oh, you want to know about Stop and Swap? Because the item's name was Stop and Swap. He's like, you want to know about Stop and Swap? How about you stop and swap this game for a book and go do something more productive with your time? I'm like,
Wow.
that's really vindictive, Rare, considering they
Yeah.
were trying to get us to pay attention to what this thing was.
It's kind of cool to me that Rare was still making games on Nintendo platforms after they were bought by Microsoft.
Right.
Like a lot of games.
Yeah. But that,
It's also a little weird to go like, hey, you should be really curious about this. And you're like, I am curious about this. You're like, don't. How dare you? You should feel shame.
That's it.
What?
That was the weird push and pull, the hot and cold. It was like if you look up Stop and Swap, you could go through like a full YouTube rabbit hole of this, like theories and all this stuff. It's basically like it's like the loose change of video game theories. It's like jet fuel turns out doesn't melt ice keys or something like that.
Yeah,
is
very nice. Oh, there you go. There's a little grunty over there.
just a crazy what?
Grunty?
Oh, grunt. Oh, the witch.
Because it rhymes.
Oh.
Hey.
Did it rhyme or was it just incredibly witty?
Do you want us
Maybe
to
both.
answer that?
Maybe
Oh,
both. I don't know. Okay, so I do. Eventually, we got to play this game, which we always do, and I'm
They
excited.
did eventually implement Stop and Swap.
In
what?
not
The Xbox Live Arcade games.
oh, did kind of retroactively they brought it back?
Yeah,
because
so
I know
if you play Kazooie and get those, it does count for stuff.
within
into
like
it.
the downloadable Xbox Live Arcade
into it.
games.
So they did eventually rectify it. Kind of curious to see if they do it on the Nintendo, like the Switch now though, because like
how
the
do they
first game
communicate with
that
one another?
happened,
Yeah,
I don't know.
It would be cool. It just feels like a very ambitious decision to have made that was almost like they flew too close to the sun. Like you could never have pulled this off with hardware changes and things like that, but a great idea.
Rare was on fire back like in the late 90s.
Ice Keys didn't stand a chance. They were though. They were fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like they were the thing to make. I mean, just GoldenEye and Perfect Dark alone, Banjo Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64. It was like they could not miss at that point.
Like I don't know how many games they had in the top 10 like best selling, but it just blows my mind that Nintendo was like, okay, bye. We're not buying you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like,
it felt like if like Marvel were just like, okay, to Disney, hey, our agreement's up. We're gonna go. Like, I guess we're sticking around, and Marvel's just like, awkward. We don't need you anymore.
I know they struggled with N64. PlayStation 1 blew them out of the water.
Right.
Like, GameCube was the next one. Rare was developing titles on that, and like just was not happening. But the other studio they almost sold to was Activision.
Interesting
So
enough.
Microsoft would have had them eventually anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Would have had them eventually.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about the Metacritic rating, 92%. What more can you say about that? This game was a fucking force to be reckoned with, and a game that I absolutely loved. Andrew, because you haven't played the game before, which have we mentioned that?
Well established.
Have we mentioned that yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you haven't played it?
Oh God, we gotta do this again.
I think what we do is we take a break, we play the game, and when we come back, Riley, you and I will give our ratings based on what we actually thought about the game when we played it back when we were kids. This is an easy one for me, not to tip my hands too hard. And Andrew, you'll be giving your rating based on what you think you would have thought about it.
Sorry. What I would have thought about it. Okay.
What a shitty rating.
Oh, very good. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much. Did that one rhyme?
Does a bear shit in the woods?
Does a banjo?
Guys,
That was really
good. I'm here to have fun.
No, but
okay?
a bird shits in his backpack. That's where
the backpack must be disgusting.
It doesn't leave. Well, he does leave in Tooie. She does leave in Tooie, but
in Tooie.
But like you don't see her.
No, she sleeps in there.
Yeah.
And I shit where I sleep. What about you?
I'm very interested to see what Kazooie does in this game. Is it a Ratchet and Clank situation? What are we doing here?
It's actually very similar to Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
similar,
Yeah.
Nice assistant.
I would say she has more utility than Clank though.
I don't agree with that.
What?
I think largely they perform the same functions except for some attacks. But like in terms of overall mobility,
is the Talon Trot is like the main way to traverse that whole game, and you need her. The eggs, all of that stuff is like so much more. Like Ratchet and Clank depends on the weaponry.
But it's almost
Clank shows up when you want to like double jump
and glide, far jump.
But Kazooie does all that plus is like implemented into all of the moveset.
I love this. This makes me really happy.
I just hesitate because I like to think that Ratchet and Clank took what Banjo Kazooie did and did it better because they added guns, and guns make everything better. Look at the United States. Tell me I'm wrong.
Hit him. Oh, sorry. I was getting really excited that this was going to get heated. You're talking about somebody's favorite game versus somebody else's favorite game. This is fantastic.
To be fair, it's been a while since I played through it. I'm sure you know more about this because you just even recently played. How many times have you beaten this game, by the way?
I would say probably like a dozen.
Holy shit.
Oh my.
Like a lot.
Good for you.
That's fucking pathetic.
Oh my God. He's our guest, Mikey.
I don't care.
Oh my God.
What's he going to do? Beat Banjo Kazooie at me?
How many hours have you put into Overwatch, Mikey?
Let's not talk about that.
It's in the 4 digits. It's
you know what's
4
crazy?
digits?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But you know what's crazy is I've seen. What are you nodding about?
Nothing. Unrelated.
Can you let me in on your joke?
It's about Kazooie again.
It's kind of personal.
Have you guys
don't
seen
wanna-
people's like PlayStation Wrapped, like similar to what Spotify does, and they release their like the games that they spent the most time? Yeah.
Oh no.
And I saw someone had put like 2,000 hours into. Fuck if I even remember the name, the game. Not even like
Overwatch, and was it you?
it was my own thing.
Right.
Oh, it's a Mikey-o. Listen, okay, we can't beat the. Oh, fucking hell. Do I have to say it?
What?
We can't beat this dead horse.
Oh no, Mikey!
Ride like the wind, bullseye.
You're a good podcast.
Why did you do that?
Because I wanted to move to the gay without horsecast fucking. Let's just go play the game. Let's do that because I'm excited for Andrew to get some experience playing this one. Let's get over onto the other side. We're going to spend a decent chunk of time with it. I've already gotten us past the training, which is always a lot of fun. We just get to hop right into the world. Let's go do it. You guys ready to join me?
There's 104,000 hours in a year, and that guy spent 2,000 of them doing one game. Wow, that's incredible.
That actually sounds less impressive to me.
He spent 2% of his whole year on one game.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fucking nerds out here. Did you hear how many times Riley beat Banjo Kazooie?
Stop deferring away from this Overwatch thing. It was you in Overwatch.
in Overwatch. All right, guys, we'll see you on the other side. We're going to go play this game.
Does he do that noise in the game?
You know what the funniest thing about this game is? One of the funniest things? When you save and quit, it shows you, you know this, Riley.
Yeah.
It shows you a cutscene of like the witch winning. Because it's like, oh, you left, you quit.
Yeah.
And she takes Tootie's beauty. And let me tell you, when it happens, I finally understand her plan. She's hot as shit.
Oh, wait, Banjo plays a banjo?
I think
Yeah,
it's a
Kazooie plays a
sexual
kazoo.
awakening for like a lot of kids.
I think
it's
so.
Whoa, like
And then
that
there's one kid that's like, I preferred her the other way.
Yeah. Oh, what a contrarian, We know what your
Always gotta
Pornhub
swim
search is like.
upstream, huh?
He has
Before
a
I say
picture
that,
of his sister
he has
above his bed.
multiple pictures
She
of his
lives
sister.
in a house there, so it's not. I mean,
It's not like she's off at war.
yeah,
There are 3 slots that you can choose from. There's the banjo sleeping, banjo cooking, and the choice that everyone has to make: banjo playing his Game
Game
Boy.
Boy, which is still in the Xbox version.
It's not in the Xbox
No,
version?
it is.
Oh, it
It's
is.
Still,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so
great.
they got the whatever, like they signed off on whatever they needed to have.
That's
it.
perfect.
What's
I love
that music? I recognize the music.
It is the Banjo Kazooie music,
Ah,
but
that's it,
digitized to sound like a Game Boy game.
Oh, that's so cool.
I used to have that song playing in my head all the time.
Oh man, the remix
Mikey,
version.
kill.
That's,
So here we are in Mumbo's Mountain. There are 3 new moves to learn. That's what the mole tells us. He gives us everything we need to know. There's a Jingo right there. Do you see him, Andrew?
Oh,
I'm
that bull?
No, that's not a Jingo. That's a bull.
No, that's a bull.
Jinjo, sorry, because I
Still
remember my
doesn't
joke,
sound great.
Jingo Unchained. So different movement abilities like jumping up.
That
and
was a
gliding.
Jinjo.
That's a Jinjo, a little blue guy.
Oh, you could swim?
You can swim.
Oh, wow.
And when you get into the underwater areas, the sounds change.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of like more muted, like you're underwater.
Yeah.
I was hearing
Yeah,
it.
that's one of the coolest things about this game. And if you reach like a really high point as well, like the music will fade out.
Wow.
So you just hear like the wind and the birds and stuff.
Oh, that's
it
so
really
cool.
Creates like a sense of atmosphere around it.
Now, the one thing we always deal with when we go back and play these N64 games is cameras. Fucking suck. Did they fix that, Riley? Because I haven't played the remakes or remasters.
Yeah.
They did, eh?
Like it's a bit better.
Because
I mean, if you wanted to really fix it, you'd have to like completely redo it.
yes,
But
yes.
it is a bit better in the Xbox version.
Even just a bit better would be great. Now, Andrew, here's one thing I want to bring up, because you always make fun of me for making my controls the way they should be, which is pilot controls, inverted.
No.
And there are moments and I think I got that from games like Banjo Kazooie, where when you're swimming and certain points when you're controlling, they invert it. So it's
Whoa.
almost like the earliest forms of 3D had inverted controls.
Yeah.
And until we went back to play these games, I didn't even realize that.
Huh. I thought you were dropped on your head as a kid.
Well, that
Guess it was
too.
something else.
I was dropped, but when I got dropped, I flew up to the ceiling, and that's why I use inverted controls. What's weird about this is that Winnie the Pooh has a shirt but no shorts. Mm-hmm. Banjo, short but no shirt.
Yeah, reverse Winnie.
Reverse. He's pulling a big old reverse. Winnie.
Yeah.
So we're looking here. This is a typical situation you're going to find yourself in Banjo Kazooie.
Okay.
There's a giant. It's almost like set pieces within the world. So there's a big ape throwing oranges at me, and I step on these switches, and he says, "Don't touch Conga's blocks." But when I do, and he throws an orange at me, it's amazing. I haven't played this game in 20, 30 years, 20 years, and I immediately remember all the moments. He
like this.
explicitly told me not to step on the blocks,
You
but I
stupid
did
idiot.
it, and I got a puzzle piece.
Man, the guy stewarded himself.
You know what's funny is he did that. I did what he told me not to do, and it fucked him over. And yet he congratulated me for doing it.
When you're bested by a better competitor, you need to go like, "Sir, you are better than I am. Here's my hand."
So you collect these puzzle pieces, and as you do, you unlock more. It kind of like getting stars in Mario. You need Mario. Okay,
Mario.
it's
Can you
Mario.
help
We've
us?
see,
I've read the brand guidelines.
It
It's
is Mario.
You
It's
cannot
Mario.
say Mario.
because
Mario.
we've been called out all the time on this podcast because we say Mario sometimes.
It's a
I
very,
think we
very
kind of use it.
Canadian thing.
I think it is.
I lived in the States for 9 years and no one said it like that.
That
So
would
I
make
think that's
sense.
probably
I don't know why we
Mario.
did that. Mario. Riley, who's an expert at this game, he's beaten it 12 times.
Should go for the baker's dozen.
Immediately knew that the only experience you have with that giant gorilla in the tree is not to have him throw oranges at you. It's to climb up his tree, grab an orange, and give it to a little baby guy there.
Whoa.
I'm trying to fight a gorilla, guys.
Well, what did you just do? Oh, you could fire eggs.
They should have made that Donkey Kong, that gorilla.
That's what, yeah. I think they should have made it Joanna Dark.
Memory of
What
this, I'm not
the
sure.
hell is this thing?
Mumbo jumbo.
That's Mumbo Jumbo.
Oh,
baby.
that's Mumbo Jumbo.
Yeah.
This is his land we are in.
It is his land. He resides over this and owns all that you see, all that the sun touches. And he'll transform you into things.
Yep.
He'll make you new animals.
I'm sorry, are you Kazooie and Banjo's on the back?
Yeah, if you want to move faster, Kazooie's tiny little chicken legs come out of the back
Talon trot.
and puts Banjo on his back. No one puts Banjo on the back.
Oh my god. This is just bewildering to me.
The fucking sound design is phenomenal in this game.
is,
Even these annoying this sound could get so annoying.
Yeah.
Actually, Andrew, is it annoying to you, or am I only enjoying it because
Well, I'm
it's
sorry.
nostalgia?
I think the music has been totally fine, but like when you decided to take this moment, wait, I'm gonna let it pause so everyone can hear it. That's the part you decided to go like, man, this music is beautiful.
No, specifically because in my mind, this could be a noise with Kazooie just running around. That could be very annoying. But I find it actually kind of like, it's kind of funny. It's kind of fun. I don't get sick of it. But is that only because of the nostalgia factor?
I would say so. Like if you had to play the whole game like this, which I guess you can.
Yeah, you can do this as long as you want.
Yeah, there's no meter.
Does Banjo make a noise walking around? Now I'm trying to think about
Yeah,
it.
he goes,
The whole time.
My cardio's bad. He wears a necklace?
Yeah, he's got a shark
he's got like
necklace.
a
Oh, wow,
puka
that's
shell
very of the
kind
time.
Yeah, exactly. He's got cargo shorts, a puka shell necklace.
He's trying to sell me ecstasy.
He's frosted his tips.
Actually,
So Riley's going into a little cave.
Yeah, you collected all the Jinjos.
And there's an ant that's saying, "Hey, ugly, no bears in here," which
And
kind
you-
of tells me that eventually we're gonna have to come back here when we're an ant, and it's gonna be like, "Hey, sexy, ants are welcome."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know that saying, "Ants in my pants"? Let's make it real.
now I'm transforming into an ant.
Riley's changed his tokens
With a backpack.
He's changed
And
his tokens
shorts,
into a. Oh yeah, he does have little shorts on. It's like a little skirt.
So that means canonically, these other ants are nude and are disgusting.
And they try to kill you to get your shorts and backpack. 'Cause
Well, maybe they're oppressed by Grunty, and Grunty makes them be nude because she's very focused on aesthetics.
Or maybe even the existence of an ant with shorts and backpack has taught the concept of shame to the other ants.
True.
And they're like, what are you doing? Now I've been nude this whole time?
All right, pass it on to Andrew. Let's see if Andrew can figure his way through
Navigate-
this game.
navigate
Okay, how
the
do I-
tiny
I'm gonna
mythic
say
world.
unlikely.
How do I eliminate opponents?
You can either outwit them, outplay them, or outlast them.
Oh, I'm going to play a social game.
Perfect.
See, not such an annoying sound now, is it, Andrew?
Not at all.
love
You
it.
probably fucking love it, you dirty ass. You sicko. You sicko.
Oh, I got
Oh,
one.
that
There you
is
go,
that
nice.
is my least favorite kind of pickup. It's the camera is fixed in this area, and the pickup is behind the cauldron in a place that you can't see.
Yes.
Like God of War, not the
Yeah.
remake, but the original God of War games were all about that. It's like you could be as Kratos facing something and not see that there's a chest there just because the camera's not showing it to you, and you have to walk there arbitrarily.
What I love that
Yes.
just happened was Andrew walked up to like the springboard there.
Yeah.
Because he has no idea what it is.
Yes.
And they had to inform him about it, which is something I haven't like done in like 11 places. Like,
Hi, you
so
must
it's
be new
like-
here.
it's just cool to see how like the game is actually guiding you through in real
Yeah.
time. Like,
I will say, like, it's been nice having two tour guides that, like, one much more than the other, but is that...
Sorry, Riley. Sorry, Riley. We don't.
Sorry, you had to find out this way. Okay, no, what I was gonna say is that, like, I have two, great tour guides, one more than the other, and you know what's...
Sorry, Riley. Once again.
But is that
okay.
I think I would have been able to figure this out on my own, and
Yes.
I mean
even
that,
without the training.
yeah, and I mean that in a good way of saying like, oh, this game is actually like it's not.
it's well laid out.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think our temptation is to call it intuitive, but I wonder if that's just because these sorts of games have weaved themselves into our vernacular where they weren't before. Like if we played this for the first time as a kid, it would have taken us a long time. Like we know there's going to be a butt stomp in every 3D game.
If you go up there and there's a door you can go into.
Okay.
With the scary face.
Yeah, scary face doors right over here.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing. Bears are pretty brave. If I'm in this world and I see a cave with fangs carved into it, I don't care if it's my sister. I'm going the other way. Plus, it's going to make a real hot witch who lives next door.
Yeah.
I'd sacrifice my sister for that.
Win-win.
Win-win.
Win-win. Less annoying sister, hot neighbor.
Yeah, let me tell you this. It's going to humble my sister real quick because she comes out of there not looking great.
Yeah. Oh, she's not dead. She's just old.
She looks like the witch. This level that we're going into is, Andrew, where we're going to be introduced to the scariest character of any game in video game history, the shark.
Mikey, do you want to play this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exposure therapy. Okay, really nice and high here. There you go.
Wow, nice throw.
Thank you.
What about the catch? Did you think
Son, have you ever heard of Clemson University?
I'm too scared of the shark.
So when we did our Mushroom Club, I believe, oh no, it was a Retrograde episode, but it was Retrograde. I believe it was one of the scariest months of the year, maybe that or February. We talked about the scariest moments of gaming.
Yes.
And one of the moments that Mikey talked about was, I believe, coming up here is the shark in Banjo Kazooie.
Yes.
So, Mikey, you want to turn around and get the Jinjo that's under the water near the spawn?
Jesus Christ!
Do I have to fear the shark right now? No. No. There's no fucking way. How did he get there so quick? How did he get there so quick?
Well, he's a shark, Mikey. And he's very scary.
Look, he doesn't
You didn't
exist.
get the Jinjo, bro. You gotta go back.
You gotta get that Jinjo.
Yeah, he's not gonna save himself.
The shark can get it, man.
He's blue. He can probably breathe underwater. I can't. And the
Get
shark
him.
doesn't seem to want to kill him. Okay.
There you go.
How is... Okay, no, honestly.
Go!
Why? That's so stupid.
Oh my God!
That's so stupid.
How stupid.
I would love everyone to know this is not a put on, because I know when Mikey's right, he genuinely was very upset by that.
I just love how angry you got at it.
It is
because you were scared
upsetting.
and you were mad at the game.
Yes.
Because I was scared, so of course I'm going to be mad at the thing making me scared. I love that in Schindler's List, he's like, I will risk my life for these people who need my help. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with a digital shark.
I wish I could give more, and you're like, I've given enough.
To the left. Yeah, right
there you go.
See
The
that
ship.
ship right there.
Okay, so I'm not going to the
swim
water.
over there.
Not swimming over there.
Uh-oh, you're gonna get wet here. You're gonna get wet.
What are you talking? I'm so close to the shore. He's not coming here. There you go. See?
Oh, now you're tempting him by waiting. you're showing your cute little bear tushy and going like, you can't get me, shark.
I'm trying to get him to put some respect on my name. These clams jumping around. I'm trying to clown on them.
Can you just jump and like peck those guys? That's what I would do.
I'm a lover, not a fighter of clams.
I'm trying to like bash into them.
Yeah, because I wanted to clown on them.
I don't want any violence. I just want to humiliate them on their own home turf.
To go.
My favorite thing about what's about to happen is that you are over the ocean right now.
No, wait. What? What do you mean? Who wants to play?
Nope.
Can you just get me to
Just get him to get Riley to land.
Yeah, just get me to land, bro.
But I'm just trying to think if I can make this jump from one floating crate
not
to
a
another.
chance you can do that. That's far too long.
Then I don't know if I want to do this.
You got this.
There you go. You
Where
got
does
it.
Snacker spawn? Oh, fuck. Wait, why? Don't make me
You're
jump.
going underwater!
That's so
Mikey!
dumb. That is so dumb. Why does it make me go? I just
You
wanna
went
go,
into the ocean. That's where the shark lives.
I just want to swim fast. I don't want to swim under.
Very interesting for a guy that says he's scared of the shark.
You just swim at one speed on the surface. So
I don't go
I would jump and just try to hover as much as you can.
That's what I tried to do.
I really hate Jason Voorhees. You know where I'm
like
going
that?
this summer?
I see.
Crystal Lake. Oh.
Now
Is there a way to shoot him? Oh, there's a
can
mumbo jumbo.
Kill.
Yes.
Snacker.
I do remember that.
You have to like, if he comes at you, you bait him to like coming up to the box there or something,
And then shoot
you
him?
can poop the eggs onto him repeatedly until it like knocks him out.
No, you went when he was right there.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna poop eggs.
Oh,
right
wow.
on.
This is a big thing for you. You're going to overcome one of your biggest fears in the world.
I got him. Okay, I'm fucking owning this guy. There's no chance. So I wait for him to come sniff my little butt. I jump up on the crate,
And then you poop
I
on it.
I poop eggs on it.
Yeah! Oh my God! This is the big day! You did it!
Conquered a fear today.
I conquered a bad fear day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very good.
All right, you want to get us? a
Well,
couple
we're done
more?
playing. That's it.
You know what's funny is I legitimately thought I would see the shark and not be afraid whatsoever.
You were
screamed.
You were so scared.
I didn't scream.
You were sweating.
That's probably true.
Did he scream?
You did. You screamed.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's true.
No, this is going to make a very good ad because Mikey's going to cut back and forth going, you didn't scream. I screamed. No, you didn't scream. Like going back and then cutting to Mikey screaming as loud as possible.
It's going to be a very meta ad where we're talking about the ad in the middle of the ad.
No, you're going to cut this part out. Wait, now you're telling me someone's watching?
There you go.
Nice.
One jump down. Hey, Riley, how much do you want to bet he doesn't make all these?
I bet everything I own.
You guys are good.
There it is.
Fuck.
Andrew, you owe us everything you own.
I didn't take that bet.
We made it for you. That's how Vegas works.
And welcome back to the Retrograde.
Hey guys, what's up? I ain't never scared.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big part of that episode.
It is.
Mikey was very scared.
I don't think that's
Snacker,
true.
The shark.
the shark. Mm-hmm. Everyone remember that? Snacker the shark? Yeah,
There
very
are,
scary.
There are a few things that I'm scared of in this world. Mm-hmm. I would say two of them. There's Snacker the shark,
Yeah. What is the second one?
Mac the knife. That's it.
Mac the knife and Snacker the shark.
And Bobby Darin.
Bobby Darin.
Except for when Kevin Spacey plays him. Then he feels right at home.
I don't appreciate how much Kevin Spacey is coming out. Not in
Hey,
this episode.
you did it the first time.
I don't think so.
You said Kevin Spacey.
I don't think so.
Hey, Andrew. At
least there's no record of this.
Sidebar?
What's up?
sidebar?
Yeah, sidebar.
Riley, take a break.
Yeah.
I got a sidebar.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, you and I,
Yeah.
we form an alliance.
I love this.
You like this
idea.
idea? Okay, so here's the thing. You never admit that if I were hypothetically afraid of Snacker the shark,
Okay.
I blame Riley for the Kevin Spacey comments.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
You and I, right off in the sunset.
100%. Let's gaslight this whole thing.
Gaslight this shit. Okay, break.
Okay, great. Damn it.
Hey, Riley,
What
what's
are you
up?
guys talking about?
Oh, man.
nothing.
Oh, your obsession with Kevin Spacey and your fear
Yeah.
of Snacker the shark, probably.
Yeah. I think your biggest nightmare is Kevin Spacey riding Snacker the shark over a rainbow. You also hate rainbows. That's another thing you don't know about. Okay.
So, Riley, tell me, how boring was that gameplay to you because you've done that a million times? Or do you still get some catharsis out of that?
My favorite part,
Catharsis not being the word to use there.
my favorite part was actually watching Andrew play it.
Oh,
First
that
time.
was
Like, that was
interesting
really
because
cool.
that was my least favorite part.
Oh,
It was exhausting.
well, my second favorite part was you screaming at Snacker the shark.
Was that me? I don't. Andrew, who is?
Kevin Spacey. Damn it. Shit. It's funny because if you played the game so much, like you have, well established, that you're right. There has to be some joy in it's either one thing or another. It's joy or like tremendous frustration. Going,
Sure.
like, don't go there. It's up. You press up on that. Like, you know what I mean? But I like that I think it's so pure spirited that you like it so much that you want to see other people enjoy the thing. Oh my
Yeah.
I just realized I'm going to be an awful parent, and Riley's probably going to be a good one because he's like, it was great to see you figure
and-
things
yeah.
out and learn along the way, and I'm like, throw the ball. Use whatever muscle you have, you mushy pile of 1-year-old, and throw the ball to me. I've been doing it for years.
I'm just doing it like you, Dad, and that's the problem. I have a terrible arm. You're right. That's what it comes down to. Do you want to see people succeed, or do you not?
Easy answer, definitely not. Unless it's me. Unless I'm looking in a mirror and seeing, much like Gruntilda would do.
Yes.
I don't know.
I look
I look at myself in the mirror and I just talk shit. Oh, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
That sounds welcome to my morning routine. I like that. I like
Michael
that.
Shannon belt on the back situation. You brought up
Typical Bob.
You brought up Grunty.
Yes.
And I really thought this game was going to be it would be very grunty centric. And maybe we just didn't get to the part that was grunty centric, but
She's there as kind of a voice in the background after the initial cutscene.
Yeah.
More than anything. She's guiding it through her her manipulative narrative, as witches often do.
Have you ever played Final Fantasy VII?
no, but IGN has. Sorry. No, but I haven't. Can you explain this as a reference to me?
So the way that game was structured is like Sephiroth, who's the main antagonist, is like they base it off of Jaws.
Okay.
So when he showed up, like he has very specific music.
Oh.
And you only see glimpses of him.
Nice.
But you don't see like
Yeah.
what he's doing, and then he starts showing up, and then he's a big deal, and then he's the threat. So
Right.
Gruntilda's always present and like basically insulting you throughout the whole thing, but you don't see her until you need to see her.
Right.
Does Gruntilda kill Aerith at some point in this game?
Yes,
I knew
the
it.
longest long sword you've
The
ever
longest
seen in your life.
Like it's an outrageous sword.
It is so badass.
Yeah.
though, yeah.
It's probably got a big
It
genitalia.
burns like a village to the ground and shit.
Yeah, it's not
stuff.
compensation,
Cool,
it's imitation.
It's
Cool.
cool.
We're talking.
It's cool.
This is pretty awesome, guys. Let's play that game. Okay. Cool. You should get one of those swords and like hang it on your wall, and it's no lie, 17 feet long. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so big. It's the size of a Honda Accord, and you're like, and somebody comes over like, what the hell is this, like art or something like that? And you're like, no, it's a sword I carry around that I
had to break into 3 parts to frame it around the wall.
I think Shiva with it.
The craziest thing is Cloud carries his own Buster sword or whatever it is. Whatever it's called.
Buster
I like to
blade.
call it the Busker sword. It's what I take when I'm trying to get money on the streets for doing backflips and things.
I
like
call
that.
it my Dave sword.
You do pretty well in that.
David
trade, though.
Busters.
I think you do pretty well in that. Trade.
I've cleaned it up. I've cleaned it up. But the craziest thing is he's got this giant fucking sword. It's probably massive. His arms are real skinny. Like Cloud, he should be a tank. He should be more like Barrett.
So yeah, in Japan, it's like more like the tough guy is like thin and stuff like that.
Oh,
It's
I should
like
move
the
to Japan.
perception of that.
Tough guy is so thin he looks sick all the time. I would do great in Japan.
But watch any anime. Like
Yeah.
they all look like that. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's just what they, except for Goku, who was absolutely a bodybuilder.
Or Baki.
Short and ripped.
Yeah.
Baki.
Baki. Yep.
There's another one. Andrew, how else can we prove Riley wrong today?
It's like 2 out of like a million characters.
Well, the only 2 I've said.
Okay.
So.
I'm sorry.
Let's talk about more things that I can contribute about.
Here's a way you can contribute.
Yeah, what's that?
First impressions of Banjo Kazooie.
It's a game, guys, and it's you know what? There are parts of it where you have an understanding of the game because it is a cultural reference, that it's bright and it's colorful, and that, you know, when you play the game, you're not like, what the hell's this? You know, it is really reflective of the game that you had in your head. All the references to music, the music delivers totally. It's fun. And the other one too is in games like this, and even I would dare to say, Mario 64, said it right, is that it's so new that sometimes it's not as atmospheric because you're waiting for things to refresh and reload and stuff like that. This game does feel atmospheric. There's stuff happening.
Yes.
In every corner, wherever you turn the camera to or wherever you look, there is something going on, whether it's music notes or, you know, villains or, you know, whatever's going on. There's something. And I think there's something really impressive about that for coming from the N64 era, where there is life to a game, where so often in this era there wasn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point.
Thank you.
It seems like a subtle...
What? I just said thank you. That's nothing wrong with that.
It seems like a subtle thing, a subtle difference between Mario 64 and Banjo Kazooie. The fact that when you get into a world, when you get a star in Mario 64, it shoots you right out of there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was waiting for another thing.
Yeah, no problem.
Where's my good point? But in this, you just get to kind of stew in it. You get to live in that world a little bit. The overworld is fun to be in because when you're there, there's a point in being there. You're getting from point A to point B. There's a lot more exploration.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's so funny too, because
Thank you.
Well, I didn't get there yet, but you're welcome. Is that, you know, I even at one point said to Riley going like, am I on a different level now? And you're like, no, you're in the overworld, because I'm so used to that just being a literal, like, go in this door, go in that door, go in this door, go in this door. But this is, it's a level into itself that is more of a puzzle than even some of the actual levels that we played. There is more, you know, moving parts and stuff that you can go back and revisit, which is really the key part of of a level like that, is that you need to play it, I don't know, 30 times.
Right.
So it needs to keep evolving as you do it. So I thought that was very interesting as well.
Yeah. Riley, you're welcome. Riley, replaying the first few levels as we did. When you go back and do that, are you getting anything new out of it, or is it so second nature to you? Because like the difference between playing a game like this and Red Dead or something along those lines is you're always going to find something new in the environment. It's going to warrant going back there because you never know what's going to happen. It's
like
a roll
a
of the die.
different thing occurring.
Yeah, yeah. In this, is the reliability something you enjoy, or something that you would kind of like to see change a little bit?
the way I look at a game like this, which is like you can probably wrap it up in 6 hours if you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
you could like wrap it up in 4 or 5 hours,
right.
Probably.
What's the quickest you've beaten it?
I don't even know. I
haven't
timed it. I should.
Number
I should
13.
try to.
Yeah. Speed run.
Yeah. I should try to. I would say what I like about it is that it is what it is.
Yeah.
So like when you go back and watch your favorite movie, like it's like a thing of comfort, right? Like if you go back to like Super Mario World, like or Super Mario Bros. 3, you know where to duck to get behind the scene and do you know all that stuff. Like there's like
you're repeating lines and
When Pierce Brosnan belts it out in Santorini in Mamma Mia, in my favorite movie, it just gives me that comfort. I'm back there. Pierce is singing with that piercing voice and those piercing blue eyes.
Yeah.
Mamma Mia.
Yeah. Those are the words.
Then what?
Yeah. What's your second favorite song? What's your second favorite? It's always too emotional.
Here we go.
Is it tough that Santorini's an island and it's constantly surrounded by water, so you're always afraid of sharks?
I'm not going in the water.
Nope.
I'm gonna climb to the highest point in Santorini and hug it so that I can't fall into the water by accident.
Right.
Because Snacky the shark. Snacker.
Yeah.
I call him Snacky to make fun of him though.
Respect.
Like, my name's Snacker. And I'm like, shut up, Snacky, because I ain't afraid of you.
Yeah. I'm going to shit on you.
Yeah, you're like a ghost because I ain't afraid of no ghost. I'm gonna shit blue eggs on you.
Yeah. I was getting, Riley, it's funny you said that because that literally was my question. I was going like, so many of us turn on TV shows that are white noise. You've seen them so many times. You're cooking, so you put it on the background.
Office or Friends.
100%.
Like that. That's what Banjo Kazooie is.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Are there any other games like? Oh, sorry. You may continue. I didn't realize you were continuing on that train of thought, Andrew.
No. I'm very curious about your question.
Are there any other games that give you that same sense of comfort? Is Banjo like unique in that way?
I like Mario 64 and stuff like that would do the same. Like if you get into things like Mario Kart or Mario Party or Smash Brothers, like they're fun and they're familiar, but there's like it changes, like Overwatch, right? Like there are different variables every time, so it's not a comfort,
right?
Like that's it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think it's funny you brought up Red Dead 2 because that is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like before Red Dead 2 especially, it was like GTA just driving through the city. Right. Like all I'm gonna do is just driving through the city and who knows what might happen. That's kind of fun. But nothing could happen if I didn't want it to. Yeah. And the same way that you could just kind of like, like I imagine how you play Banjo. Your eyes go completely white and you just kind of like, and the game just all of a sudden you wake up and it's finished. You're like, very good. That was a lot of fun. So I totally understand that. Mikey, do you have a game like that?
You know what? I very rarely, I think maybe the closest I've come to that would be like a Ratchet and Clank game. Once I've played through it once and similar to what you're doing, Riley, where you just kind of know where things are coming from. And there's a difference there because that is so much more focused on the mechanics and not all the enemies move in the same way at every time. So every encounter is going to be a little bit different. Yeah. But the ability to just turn on a game and kind of know it's going to take whatever path it's going to take, I don't get enjoyment out of that.
Well, that's funny because you also don't like rewatch movies. You don't really have like all this comfort TV show stuff we're talking about. You don't really have that. So it's funny that it does translate over to video games as well.
I've got too much anxiety and I'm sure that anxiety can manifest itself in different ways where playing a comfort game where everything is predictable can be the antidote to that. But in my mind, when I'm playing a game where everything is falling into place the way that it always does every time I go through it or watching a movie with the same intentions, it feels as though I'm not progressing in any way. I feel as though I'm not improving in any. I'm just kind of rehashing something, and it's gotten to that point in Overwatch as well, where I'll spend my time playing it, and yes, every encounter changes, but my progression through the game can't change by the nature of what the game is. Kanto changes. Playing Pokemon, maybe that would have been my comfort game. No, but I don't know that there is. Do you have one?
Well, I said Red Dead and GTA. I will say sports has lived in that world because they're all contained. Like only so much can happen. Right. You know what I mean? And I don't play online very much too, so that helps. So it's like it's just a very contained thing where I'm like, oh, let's try this. Okay. Right. And I could quit after 3 quarters and go like, nah, I don't care. You know what I mean? And
just like you quit after you miss a spring jump as Kazooie in Banjo Kazooie, and you're like, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Like, well, I think we could review it now.
Yeah, I think we can review it now. 0 to 4 stars because I missed a spring jump.
Yeah. 3.5. Missing 0.5 is because of spring jumps. Yeah, like it is funny as a concept to think about video games because you're just an active participant. It's not like video games where you're like, oh, I fell asleep halfway through. I mean, movies or something like that where you fell asleep halfway through. Well, you're not an active participant. You need to be doing something to do it, which is, very interesting. Because I thought, Mike, you brought up a tweet the other day, or you wrote a tweet the other day, excuse me, that where you saying how energy and time are two different things where you're talking about on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, yes.
Yeah, on a Sunday. Do you play old games that you know very well, or do you try something new? And I said, well, if I've got time, I do this. And you said, time and energy are two different things, which is a very interesting point.
For me, because I run into this issue all the time. The day in which I have the most time to play a video game is a Sunday. Always. Naturally, right? I mean, it's the time where most of us have the most amount of free time to play, but it's also the end of the week and just before the beginning of a new week. So I just don't have a lot of energy. I don't want to think too much. I don't want to put too much effort out there. So my instinct is to play something like NHL 22 or Overwatch or something that I'm already familiar with. I know the controls. Exactly.
Pattern,
And every time on a Sunday, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to start a new game.
Yeah.
And I've run into this issue a lot as an adult. I don't know if you're the same way, Riley. I know you and I, Andrew, have kind of talked about this, but like learning new mechanics in a new game is way more difficult for me now than it was when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and
that's a scientific thing too.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Right.
Your brain knows the neural pathways to like do certain things.
It's
so you don't want to deviate from
Yes.
it. But you're still capable of doing it. It's just pushing yourself to do it.
That's it. So when I find I do push myself and learn a new game, like Death Stranding, for example, which you and I spoke about on the podcast, actually, after you had reviewed it just before it had come out. You were like, this game is, I think you gave it a 10, right?
Yeah, I think it was probably one of the best games of that year.
I think it's
just based on the narratives and stuff.
It's now one of my favorite games of all time. And it did take, though, relearning twice. Twice I had to go back and relearn the structure of that game because I took a big break from it.
Different.
And that's another issue I find where I'm halfway through Returnal and I'm so scared to go back and play it because it's been a month and a half since I did. And it's a notoriously hard game. And I'm like, there's no way in the middle of the game I'm going to be able to pick first. Well,
yeah. Just saying.
Not for me. Okay. Is that what you wanted to hear?
That's a good point.
So returning to Banjo Kazooie.
Yes.
As we were wont to do, maybe it's time that we dig into it a little bit and give our reviews. I was so curious, Andrew, to see how you took to it. Some growing pains in the beginning as you learned the mechanics and the controls, but you had said, even if Riley and I weren't here to guide you, me guiding you a little bit better, I think, than Riley was, as you were saying during the gameplay.
That's not a good point.
You would have figured it out anyway.
Right.
And that's such a good point because this is now such an ingrained type of video game in us. When we play games like this, we just know what to expect. We know there's going to be a butt stomp. We know there's going to be a double jump. We know there's going to be like a kind of a high jump, maybe a long jump, those sorts of things.
We know there's a witch that's trying to steal the life of a young bear. We know that there's a bird in our backpack. Every game, every time.
Oh, fuck, the bird in my backpack.
Oh, God, yeah. Sam Porter Bridges is so worried about the baby. They're just like, oh, my God, a bird. Right. Oh, right. That's my bird. Okay.
So it was fun to see you kind of take to that, but I think maybe it's time to give us these. You're welcome. I think maybe it's time to give the game a review. So, as we mentioned before the break, before the beak.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Very good.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
I said thanks.
Okay, good point. You're welcome. I'm literally, as Simon says at this point, there's 3 buttons I can hit. And I'm like, no. Okay, it's got to be this one then.
Just what can I say to make Mikey stop looking at me? So Riley, you and I are going to give this game a ranking out of 4 bits based on what we thought about the game when we played it back in 1998, and so try to channel your younger Riley prior to you beating it 11 more times. Andrew, you're going to be giving this game a rating out of 4 bits based on what you think you would have thought about it had you played it back in 1998. Andrew, why don't you start us off?
Okay, I am going to do this while not making eye contact with Riley. No. This game's really good.
You're welcome.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Old dog, new tricks. This is, this game is really good and it's very addictive. And I imagine that's the reason I was saying about, it would have been fun even if you guys weren't here, is in large part due to the number of may I say crevasses, may I say openings, may I say different entrances and different things that it's giving you visual cues to go, you can go back here later if you want. You could do this and you're looking at stuff going like, how do we get up there?
Right.
Okay, so if I went in this entrance, it didn't do anything. So what's in this entrance? And really we're talking about the fundamentals of what video gaming is to us. We're slightly a little bit older than the generation that grew up with NES as a teenager and going like, holy shit, this is amazing. This was our real fundamental what video games are in a large part. And that curiosity and what drives you to play a game in the first place is really exciting. And it still is exciting now, 22 years later, 24 years later, to explore things and to give it to you. I just love that it's on rails but it's not. It's the opening of those things that is so exciting. I think I absolutely would have loved this as a kid. So I'm going to give it 3.5.
3.5. Well done. Riley, tough shoes to fill, but I can imagine how you're going to fill them. What would you rate this game? What does young Riley rate this game? By the way, how old were you playing this game?
98 it came out.
Yeah.
It would have been 7.
Wow.
Ooh. Wow. You really knocking on the door of the fairest of the land, according to Banjo Kazooie terms.
It's the weirdest thing. I went to buy the game and a witch kid.
Don't attack me because I'm cute as a button.
Well, like thinking back to that moment, like it's what it was at the time was like a better Mario to me,
Okay.
which I really appreciated. I didn't get some of the there's like crude humor in it,
Yes.
which is aimed at adults that I like right over my head and
Right.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But the platforming and stuff like that was just so memorable. The music, like even after I had stopped playing it, gone on to other things, like when it re-released on Xbox, I was like, oh yeah, Banjo Kazooie. Like I download that and I knew everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's memorable, right? Like so, like to the point where I'm like, oh, Andrew, do this. I mean, like I played it 12 times.
Yeah.
But like even you kind of knew what to do. You're like, oh yeah, the orange is on the Switch. Yeah,
Yes.
Like it comes back, right? So like that to me is like a sign of like a very memorable
Totally.
game, like well laid out. So like going back, like I even reflecting on it, I would have given it a perfect score.
Yeah.
So I mean that to me was like exactly what I wanted.
4 out of 4 for Riley.
There we go.
Look, there's no way I can't agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Which is a really weird way to say I agree with you. Like, it's a really backwards way of saying that, but I agree with you.
I hate how much I agree with you. The fuck?
I hate how much I don't perfectly agree with 100% of what you didn't say.
Oh my God, the robot short circuiting again.
No, it's crazy going back and playing this game because it feels like I played it last week. And there are elements of this game that I didn't realize ingrained themselves in me as like a touchstone, like musically, in terms of like the feeling I had playing the game. I remember one moment playing the game where, and this was during the tutorial when I was getting us to the point where we could play in the one of the first worlds in Mumbo's Mountain, and I was looking at a set piece, and the image I was seeing reminded me of a feeling I had as a kid and the wonder and magic I had feeling it playing Banjo Kazooie.
Right.
You know those feelings you had playing kids that you just, I don't have the emotional palette to experience those feelings anymore the way I did as a kid. Like that sense of
dull.
Yeah. It's just like the more you press those buttons in your brain, the less effect you get from having pressed them. But this going back reminded me of exactly what that feeling was. The music is way. Do you guys ever have those tunes you sing in your head, like almost like not obsessively, but like they'll just go in your head.
In your head.
Yeah, you're just like
the Mario Brothers theme. If
right.
Something
And
like
sometimes you don't even know where the tune came from. It's just like a thing that you just kind of hum or whatever. So many of those I didn't even realize I got from Banjo Kazooie. Hearing them again for the first time in years, I'm like, oh my God, that's why I used to do that. And that's just talking about the aesthetics and the overall look and feel of the game. The game still controls really well, cameras aside. But as a kid especially, it was just burrowing itself into my subconscious in such a good way. This game, as you mentioned, Riley, it was a better Mario 64. Not to throw shade at Mario 64, but it just polished it all up. This is a 4 out of 4 for me, easy.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys both did that, because if you didn't, you'd be lying to yourselves. So like
100%.
Like when Riley, you started by saying anything other than 4 out of 4, I was like, I was already immediately like, come on, what are we doing here? So those are our retro scores. Canonically, that's a 7.5 out of 8. And altogether, that's a 11.5 out of 12.
Andrew's eyes rolled back into his head like Riley when he picked up the controller. Playing
I'm summoning it. There's a spirit in the room. So
that's
a point of zen.
exactly.
And mine was adding 3 numbers together.
There you go.
So those
Proud
are our
of
retro
you.
scores
Thank you.
based on our impression of the game back when we played it as kids. Now let's give it our ratings as we think about it, or what we think about it as it holds up in the modern day against the likes of modern games like Final Fantasy VII, the remake, or like
Halo.
Overwatch, or like Halo Infinite, or God of War Ragnarok, potentially when that comes out, who knows? But comparing it to the games that are coming out today. Andrew, why don't you start us off out of 4 bits?
That's a good point.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Wow, I think we figured it out. Oh, nice. Good job, everybody. Okay, so this gets
Gesundheit. What? What'd you say? Gesundheit?
Did you fart?
No. Wouldn't that be great if there was a word after someone's farts that you're like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Or like, whatever
there
the
is
word.
a word. It's who farted. That's the word everyone says when someone farts.
I've got that on a t-shirt.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. This is an interesting one to do in the current score because it is in no way that you don't look at it twice and go like, well, that's an older game. Like, it's not an old game in the way you look at Pong or something like that, but it's an old game in the way that we still make games like this. They're just light years ahead when it comes to graphical and controls and stuff like that and everything.
You got the Unreal Engine and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. The Bear's probably ripped, has a six-pack, voiced by Chris Pratt, the whole thing. But it's hard not to like look at it and go like, well, that's an old game. But then you actually play it and you start to remember what video games are as a whole. They're not a visual medium. There's visual as part of it, but the actual interaction between you and the game is the most important part to me is what makes it a video game and not some other medium. Sure. This controls great. It still is really, really good. Yeah, the camera's janky, but most of the cameras, this is not an individual problem with Banjo Kazooie. It's a problem in general with N64 games that came out this generation. The story is kind of fun. It's a little original. The colors, the music, the whole thing is fun. And I still think it plays, it's just tight. Like everything about it just really tight. And it's a lot of fun to play. Now, I'm gonna dock it a little bit for the camera, but not a ton. I'm still gonna give it a 3 out of 4. I still think it's a wonderful game.
Yeah. Awesome. It's a great score, and especially because this was your kind of first experience with it. You didn't get to dig your teeth into it the way that you may have had we spent hours playing it. Right. Yeah. But I still think 3 is a very respectable score and totally understandable, especially in the modern day with all the, as a witch would also have, warts on this game that still obviously exists.
Yes.
Warts and all.
Very good. Yes. I need that smooth skin of a young bear.
Your young bear bottom. Speaking of warts, Riley, what are you going to give this game in the morning?
He's our guest.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't I'm sorry, man. Like,
don't apologize
we
to
can
him.
branch. I don't know.
Don't even look him in the eyes.
He's got all the equipment. He's got all the power, man.
Yeah,
I will turn your mic off right now.
Yeah, he's editing. So when later I'm like, I don't feel good about, and you're like, and then Andrew went away. He's never back again. Sorry, Riley.
I'm not. I mean, I think Andrew.
You're welcome.
I mean, like, I think even if you compare this game to like the Xbox Live Arcade port, like it touched up the graphics a little bit, which is, to Andrew's point, is a thing. The camera controls were a bit better.
Sure.
Like the music notes were, you could actually like collect them and it would stick, and you could go back and there are little quality of life changes that can be done on it. What it did is fantastic. What it did was influence like Super Mario Odyssey and stuff like that. It's definitely still like, I would say a 3.5 for me.
Nice.
But it's showing its age a little bit, but it still plays. So it's still so much fun to play. So I can't dock it too heavily, really.
I hear you on that. I'm struggling with this one so much because Andrew, I agree with what you're saying.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Gesundheit. In the sense that there are some blatant issues with the game.
Oh yeah.
Camera being one of them, graphics being one of them. Riley, you mentioned that they tried to improve upon that in the Xbox Live Arcade version, but there's only so much they can do on an older game, which totally makes sense. But another thing you said, Andrew, is we're still making games like this and we make them all the time and this and that. I don't know that I fully agree with that.
Oh, really?
And I would look at something like Super Mario.
You that they don't make.
That's the thing, and you can use something.
The genre has been untouched.
It's just not there anymore. And the closest thing might be a Super Mario Odyssey, which I think is a great argument to say we're making bigger and better games than this. But I dealt with this in Red Dead 2 and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Bigger doesn't imply better in my mind. Like Super Mario Odyssey was a great game, objectively a great game, but almost too big for me. I think I could go back and play Banjo Kazooie and get that hit of nostalgia in a way that Mario Odyssey is not gonna give me, and B, just kind of be self-contained, pick up and play, like go in a level and know that it's not going to take me hours and I'm not going to be racking my brain. And maybe some people want that, but I don't know that I always do. Right. And if this is what I'm looking for, this is the best version that I'm going to get. Better than Mario 64, better than Space Station Silicon Valley, which we played a long time ago. And one of the reasons for that is, I was looking for a game like Space Station Silicon Valley to give me this feel, and it didn't give it to me. Banjo Kazooie did, and it still does. And I don't know that there's another game out there that is, in my opinion, as the essence of video game boiled down to its core components in terms of what makes games to me. It's fun. It's funny. The music's great. Design's great. The story is there, but it doesn't get in the way more than it needs to. The characters are all awesome. Like the ancillary characters. I think I just convinced myself. I'm giving it a 4.
Okay. Wow.
Nice.
Oh my God. I just want to say, if I have to defend myself in any way, which I do, is that, last year they released a game with, 2 friends. One's a helper and they collect stuff and they work their way through levels and the story is kind of important, but not really necessary. And it was called Ratchet and Clank. I said, good day. Okay.
Yeah. And Ratchet and Clank, I gave it, but there's gunplay in Ratchet and Clank.
I said, good day.
And also Ratchet and Clank is a 4 out of 4 for me as well. So.
I didn't say it was bad. I'm just saying they're still making games.
I say good day.
Damn it. That's a really good argument. You can't come back from it.
Thank you.
Okay, so canonically, what did you give that, a 4?
4 out of 4.
So 7, that's a 14 and a half. Oh my God. Welcome. Oh my God, this is a big day.
This is a big day.
It got a 14 and a half. Holy shit.
It got a 14 and a half. Obviously, we know that there are going to be some awards coming its way. Riley, I'm not judgmental. I'm a little surprised you didn't give it a 4 in the modern day. I kind of thought you would, but I also completely understand that I was so on that razor's edge as well. Like in my mind, Shadow of the Colossus, when we did that, easy 4 out of 4 for me. Like there was no question about it because it's such a unique game.
Still so good.
And but in my mind, Banjo Kazooie was a little bit more on the edge, primarily because of the camera and controls.
And that's why I look at that game like, dude, like remake this game.
100%.
It would be exactly what everybody wants.
Exactly.
Like, do that, remake that too. Put it in a
give
package.
it the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 treatment.
Don't change anything about it. Just give it a nice little touch up.
Polish, fix up the camera.
Exactly.
Give Banjo a 6-pack. Make those shorts a little bit shorter.
So well endowed. Yeah. Like you could see it in the shorts. You're like, whoa, that bear is packing.
And when you move when you rule, like they move the camera around him, he doesn't stare in the camera, but every so often he glances at it like, I know what you're looking at. You know what I mean?
If the camera swings, it swings a little bit too with him.
Yeah.
I think that works really well. And Kazooie's always good at making wide cracks all the time. Like, we know. Yeah, it talks in this version.
Yes. But that's all it says.
It's 11. Okay, well that was so much. Oh wait, God. Okay,
we hear the music. We hear the music warming up. So we're gonna. Okay, so we'll let the band play us in.
You've been waiting for it all year. The most glamorous award ceremony of the week, ladies and gentlemen. The Grady.
Wow, beautiful, just gorgeous music. Did you hear the oboes, Riley?
Yeah, that's all I could hear.
Yeah,
it's too much oboe. That's intentionally.
An orchestra of oboes.
Why would we have any strings? Who needs them? It's oboes.
We're big oboe guys. You know that's about us. Okay,
you can't spell oboe without the. Oh yeah. I mean,
no.
Not all the letters are in there, but you need a couple of them.
Have you ever seen oboes being spelled? A lot of silent letters. A lot of silent letters. A lot of them. Okay, Elliot.
Hey, pulling off the short yellow shorts.
You're looking good.
And the backpack.
Ripped as well, just like Future Banjo.
Just like Future Banjo. Yeah. Elliot's got the, I'm wondering, is the envelope in his back pocket or is it in the backpack?
In the backpack?
Oh, he's got multiple envelopes. Some are in the backpack, some are in the envelope.
Oh, wow.
He's got one in the backpack, one in the envelope, and then a bird just came and delivered his other envelope.
Incredible. It's a whole production value in this whole thing is really amazing.
Able to turn it around that quick.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's great. It's like he knew this was coming.
Also, multiple envelopes. That must mean this game won multiple awards.
That's why, yeah.
Whoa, that's so weird. Okay.
All right, so we're going to hear the awards that this game won. He fits like an old glove compartment.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
And the Field of Childhood Dreams.
If you play it, they will review it fondly.
And the Chevy Silverado Like a Rock Dwayne Johnson & Johnson A Family Company Trophy Hall of Fame trophy.
Whoa, it did it! It's in the Hall of Fame!
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Chevy Silverado. Dwayne Rock Johnson.
Wow, 3 awards, 3 fantastic awards in no particular order, except I'm saving the best for last. That wins the Fits Like an Old Glove compartment, where the current score is above a 7.
Wow.
We've got the Field of Childhood Dreams, where the retro score is above a 7, or sorry, a 7 or higher.
Yep.
Either way, that works for this. And the Chevy Silverado Like a Rock Dwayne Johnson & Johnson A Family Company Trophy Hall of Fame trophy, which is the highest honor in any news media outlet.
Yeah.
I'm talking Fox News.
Yeah.
I'm talking dailymirror.co.uk.
Right. Breitbart message board.
Breitbart message board. 8chan. All of the major ones. None of them can be
12chan. 16chan. All of them.
16chan is
Yeah.
what we should name. We should set down to 16 bits.
Oh, God. Oscar.
Now we're rating it out of 4chans. We rate it out of 4chans.
We get a very different listener base all of a sudden.
Oh, no.
Oscars, fuck off. Time Person of the Year, get the hell out of here. You know it's the Dwayne Johnson & Johnson, Shelby Silverado, Dwayne Johnson & Johnson Family Company Hall of Fame trophy. You know what? You got it.
Okay.
You've heard it
Good stuff.
16 times already.
Riley, you want to take a stab at it?
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that's a smart answer.
That's a smart answer.
Yeah, that's good.
I barely want to anymore. 3 amazing awards. Fantastic awards for a fantastic game and a fantastic game to do with a fantastic guest.
Oh, that's
Riley.
Very kind. That's the
Love
nicest
having
thing
you
you've
on
said
here.
since I got here. So I appreciate that.
I was saving it all up for that.
Really?
But that's the only one you get.
That's all I need.
Oh, and funny enough, we're ending this episode. Riley, where can people find you? Where can people talk to you?
They can find me on Twitter at theRileyLittle.com. Or, yeah, just at theRiley. I was going to say .com. Yeah. Just at the
Personal website he's got starts with an at. So check him out there.
the next big thing.
Yeah, exactly. We'll tag him in this, and you know, Riley, obviously you're the guest that's come on the most, which is surprising on our end, but and only because you add so much legitimacy to this podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
That's kind. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well,
You're welcome.
Okay, well, that's going to be the next 6 days of this. We'll see you next Tuesday. We love every single one of you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name's Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for listening to the Retrograde Podcast.
We look forward to recording this podcast all week long, and we hope you guys look forward to listening to it.
You know how we got into retro video game podcasting for the money and the babes? We're really in it for the ratings and reviews.
Money is ratings. Reviews are babes.
Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you enjoy podcasts.
For any business inquiries, you can always email the retrogradepodcast@gmail.com.
You can find us on Twitter at Retrograde Pod.
And you can find Andrew on Twitter at Retrograde Andy,
And then Mikey at Retrograde Mikey.
Instagram at the Retrograde Podcast. And remember, find us on Patreon, patreon.com/the Retrograde Podcast for all of your non-essential but very much enjoyable content. We don't ask that you give us much, apart from joining our Patreon. But what we do ask is that you join this community that we've grown. Also, give us some of your blood.
I want some of your hair in a bag. Thanks for listening from your two dads.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
I'm not here to kink shame anybody.
I am. That's what I'm here to do.
Oh, okay, cool.